everybody. Thank you for stopping by. Today we have a great, amazing artist from Calgary, JoAnn Godenir. Hello, JoAnn.
Hi.
Today we're gonna chat a little bit about what she's been up to and exciting things coming, and just get to know her a little bit. Yeah. So hi, JoAnn. How are you?
Hi. I'm really good. I'm good.
Where are you now?
I am standing at the Christine Klassen Gallery in Calgary, Alberta.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about yourself, like so people can could get to know you a little bit. So
well, I grew up in Saskatchewan, and when I was young, I was always sort of a creative little kid. But I was more into performing. Like I love dancing and singing and acting. I always wanted to be an actress. When I was young, I actually wanted to be Miss Piggy because I thought she was the greatest actress. But then in high school, I started doing a little bit of painting. But when I was done high school, I went to university and I actually got a sociology degree. Because I thought that was sort of a little bit more of a serious thing to do. I didn't really think art was an option. And I worked for about 10 years after that in a pretty boring job. And I had the opportunity at that point to go back to school. So I did start my Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I did a foundation year.
Okay.
And I was just hooked. I couldn't complete it because I had some family obligations, unfortunately, but I just made it my mission to keep learning and keep going. During that time, I had my kids, so I was pretty busy, and I would just do retreats and classes as often as I could and paint whenever I could. And then a couple of years ago, I discovered abstraction, and that's where I think I really hit my stride.
Nice. That's your work behind you, right?
And that's the work behind me now.
And that's your latest series, I would say, or?
Yeah. This series started right at the beginning of the pandemic. It's spring, I think it was, what was it, 2019?
Yeah. And that's is there any significant I know it started when the lockdown started, right?
It did start when the lockdown started. And everything shifted in our household. Like suddenly my kids were sent home from school, which seemed like it just sort of blew my mind that happened. I never thought in a million years that would happen. So I went from having sort of some time and space during the day to suddenly, homeschooling kids, and everything just sort of seemed a little bit blended. So at that time, I was trying to juggle new roles, like teaching photosynthesis and things like that. As well as trying to get in that studio time that I needed, and just trying to balance those roles. So in my head, it just sort of came out on the canvas. And that's usually what happens. Like whatever is happening in my life just comes out somehow. So there's a little bit, like you can see in the stripes, I'm wanting control over a situation I have no control over. So, and then finding beauty in those places where you just relinquish control and let things be as they are.
So I've been thinking about this stripes work that you've been doing. It's really fascinating to me because it's so like precise. But you didn't do that before. You've done a little bit of representational work and a little bit of abstract, and this is abstract too, but it's abstract graphical in a way. So how did it gradually change to this, or if there's any significant shift or not?
The stripes sort of just happened. I can't even really explain it, but at that time I was looking at a lot of textile art and just thinking about home a lot and
Yeah.
the creative spirit and how women have, carried on that creative spirit, and they have a certain tenacity. And a lot of times that ended up in textile art, like
Uh,
quilt making.
uh,
And in my history, certainly, my
uh,
mother was a quilter. And so
mhm,
that's the creative side I saw growing up. And these paintings reflect that
mhm,
in the way that they're pieced together,
mhm.
the way that
Yeah.
the process that I use to put them together. It's
Yeah.
almost quilt-like,
Yeah.
but I'm painting.
Yeah. I now can see that you mentioned quilt. It
Yeah.
does have that quilt, not quality, yeah,
Hmm.
DNA to it. And I was just gonna say that the stripe actually reminds you of, being in a lockdown. But so negative there. No, no, no.
I know. It's
You
like
know
being in
how
prison. It
when
wasn't that bad.
no, no, yeah. I mean, it just when you look at art, you just think about, different things, right, to interpret and all that stuff. So speaking of process, you mentioned about process. So tell us more a bit about, like, how do you start and how do you finish this pieces? Yeah,
Well, I just start with a bunch of blank panels,
yeah.
and I'm painting them. I use a lot of layers.
Mm.
I have used collage before, not in a lot of these pieces, but I've played around with that, and I just I really have to sometimes remind myself, just play on the panels and just get
Mhm.
some paint on and get some
Yeah,
layers on first.
yeah.
But I'm painting them individually, but
Okay.
simultaneously.
Oh, okay.
So they're sort of all over my studio floor
Uh-huh.
when I'm
So
doing it.
so almost like you almost like you creating this Lego blocks or these pieces, and then you put them all together
Yeah,
later.
I do, because I don't necessarily have a plan when I start.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm just creating, and then I'm putting layers on, and I
yeah,
just paint them. I get them to the point where I like them, and then I put them together.
yeah. That's
Not not permanently at that point.
yeah, yeah.
I have a grid on my wall. I can hang them up and see how it
Hmm.
looks. And then at
Yeah.
that point, I like move squares
Okay.
and switch things around, and then I kind of evaluate, okay, what's going on here design wise, and then that's when I add layers of paint or I sand
Mm,
things back, and
I see.
I make decisions that way. Yeah.
Okay. So it's almost like that's the last stage of putting it all together, and then
Hmm.
your design thinking start to turn, saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
this doesn't look right." And then you start maybe going back to it and maybe readjust a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that's where some
Nice.
interesting things happen, because a panel can look one way and I realize I need to change it. And then you
Yeah.
get these interesting textural qualities where
Hmm.
there's stripes underneath. And
Hmm.
I really like that part.
Do you think you can zoom into closer to one of
Yes,
them?
I can take you on a tour. I'm gonna
Yeah,
pick you
yeah,
up. Hold on.
that'd be great.
Here we
I,
go.
I bet we want to see it
Yeah.
closer, like how thick they are, or the textures, how perfect the lines are. So
How
cool.
perfect.
Yeah,
I know. Can you see that
yeah,
okay?
yeah. This is great. So hold on, stop. You see
Sorry.
that piece on the left? You have like dark, almost like a shadow. Um,
Yeah. There's kind of a little shadow in there.
that's cool.
And then there's sort of texture in there.
Mhm.
Um, and
Nice.
then this is more of sort of a free flowy type
So like that
section.
one, the triangle one, that's kind of not
This one?
perfect. That's kind of cool. No, 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 the one move to the right a little bit. Yeah, that one
This one.
right there.
Hmm.
There's triangle on the bottom where
Hmm.
it's not perfect. Like you have this marking things like that, and
Yeah.
that's nice. Um,
Yeah, it's sort of a mix. I just want to have a mix in there of
mhm.
the perfect and the imperfect,
Yeah, yeah.
and just the difference between the two. Sort of
Mhm.
these dreamy parts of the painting where
Yeah,
it's loose, and then the stripes over top is sort of a neat contrast, I think.
yeah. It's nice contrast. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And then this one really doesn't have that dreamy quality. It's more straight lines.
Uh-huh.
all of it. But what I did here, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's some like sort of subtle texture in there with this one. Like there are extra stripes in there, but they are the same color, you know what I'm saying?
Is this
like
one
this
called?
section right here.
Oh,
This one's called Secret Passage.
okay.
And this one is interesting because it doesn't have any of those sort of free-flowing parts. But yet when I painted this, things were quite chaotic in my life. So I'm like, oh, was I really grasping for control? Perhaps.
I mean, yeah, I like these too. Well, I like them. Like you have this dark on the side. Yeah, it's cool.
Sorry, whereas this one, like obviously has a lot more of this kind of quality, you know, to it.
Yeah, and the perfect line there, picking through all the chaos.
Yes, that's new, and actually I'm kind of digging that. But yeah, and just playing around with colors and paint and values.
I mean, that's really is like the I was gonna say the trick, but the goodness that's come out of these, like when you have these imperfection, you know, showing up unexpectedly, kind of thing. So.
Oh, definitely. Like I think that's what, for me, that's the most interesting part. Like if all you did was a bunch of stripes, that's cool too. But
yeah,
I kind of like both in the same painting.
Yeah. Cool.
And you're not really sure what's going to happen, you know, and just the difference between, you know, in these squares, there are some subtle lines that I'm scraping back into the paint, which is in contrast to obviously these very on purpose lines that I'm making in the rest of the painting.
The green and the yellow greens.
Yeah.
So you have those three things there. It looks similar marks, like, you know, similar strokes. When you paint that, did you paint like next to each other first, or?
Well, I've been using that technique in a couple paintings.
Yeah.
And so I did make, it was actually on a few other squares as well. And I edited it back, but I just wanted a few of those sort of special pieces coming through.
Okay.
It's really fun to do.
I know, this is like you making small pieces and then, like you said, putting it back together later. It's kind of fun. Like,
yeah, and even putting it together. I mean, a grid is tricky, right? Because people, well, I think the brain wants you to have it perfect, but you know, these are imperfect squares, and with layers of paint, they get kind of, you know, different edges on them. So, but they're put together kind of like, and I'm like, you know what? It's like a quilt laying on the bed.
I know, that's cool.
Yeah. Do you want me to show you some more?
Yeah. Wait, you said it? I thought you have more.
Yeah, I do have more.
Nice.
So these were some of the original ones.
Okay.
That I did. And they're just like, you know, small little ones.
I love the colors too. It's just shape, but the color, they harmonize really well. And
color has become, I've always loved color, always, but I had no idea how to use it. I just took all the colors and put them on. But once I sort of started exploring color and learning how to use it as a communication tool, then things really changed for me, and I love experimenting with it, and I like using it. Really, like I said, as a tool. So this one has tons of subtle lines.
Underneath stuff.
Underneath and over top, and I'm just playing around with different ways I can put things.
I like this blue. The blue makes it like irregular quilt grid. That's cool. Like you hardly see there's lines in between them because they're
there's lots of little like Yeah, this one's called Mikey's Blanket.
Okay.
Because it looks like an old blanket to me.
Okay. Mhm.
And my brother is Mike, so
Oh, okay. Nice.
yeah.
Really personal there. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nice. Do you have more? So, tell
Um,
me more about where you at and what's going on. This is a show.
this is
Um,
it's a group show. It's
okay.
called Chroma. I
Okay.
can show you a couple pieces here while I'm talking.
Oh,
It's
there's
called
more. Look at that.
Yeah, these are a lot more subtle.
Okay. Cool.
Um, every summer, Christine does a group show.
Mm-hmm.
And this summer, she has invited myself and another artist
Mm-hmm.
to come along and be part of the show. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice. Well,
And
this
then
one's
these
going to be in the
pieces,
front.
this one is going in the front, and this one. And
Oh,
these ones, I loved painting these ones.
yeah. That's
They
cool.
were really fun.
See
Yeah.
that green, yellow, green showing up again.
Yeah, it's like a chartreuse.
Yeah.
It's like a chartreuse. But I love it next to the pale, like really pale pink.
Mm-hmm. Pops. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long is the show going to be? Um,
The show is up as I'm walking along here. The show is up starting this Saturday until August 28th. So it's actually quite a long run.
August 28th. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
So
you're
I'm
in
super
Calgary.
excited. I'm in very good company here in the gallery. Like there are some really talented artists.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really great show to come check out because it's just a wide array.
Mm-hmm.
There's sculpture, there's painting, there's installation. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really great show.
Nice, nice. I have to fly all over to Calgary though.
Why would you not want to? The Calgary
Yeah, why
Stampede is
not?
on. Just bring your cowboy
Yeah,
hat.
I
We'll
know.
welcome you on.
Nice, nice. Well, it's good to see you again. Do you have any before we close, any advice, anything that you wanna share with us for, I don't know, for kids who wants to paint or adult who wants to continue painting or
You want to paint?
anything really?
I think I do.
Right. Yeah.
I think for myself, one of the things that changed painting for me was learning to slow down and pay attention to what I like. We sometimes we go so fast that we forget to notice. And once I put some effort into noticing what I like and doing more of that and letting myself enjoy what I'm doing. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to just do more of what you like doing because that's when you really are going to produce your best work. And a practical note, my favorite tape is Scotch 233 Plus, which I get asked a lot. I get asked a lot about my tape. That's my tape that I love. And I get it at a auto body supply store.
Is that the what color is that?
It comes in a couple colors.
Oh, okay.
It's green and sometimes it's yellow. It depends on the width. But why I like the Scotch 233 because I can get a variety of widths with that. So I love that tape.
Scotch 223. Okay, that's the biggest advice. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the other things. Yeah.
And for anyone who isn't in Calgary, Christine is going to post a virtual sort of viewing room on her website, the Christine Gallery, ChristineKlassenGallery.com. And that will be up probably in a week or so people can go have a look at that. And all the works are posted on my website as well.
Okay.
Which is JoAnnGodenir.com. Yeah.
I'll put that on the post later. Yeah, I really like that. Slow down and try to notice what you like. That's really big key. Sometimes we forget. But and so many noise outside and inside.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it takes work sometimes, but it's worth it.
Great advice. Thank you. So Well, it's great to see you again, JoAnn. Best of luck. This is really looking awesome. I bet it's gonna be a hit. So August, right? So please, everyone, check out JoAnn's work, and I will again post the link.
Okay, perfect. It was great talking to you.
Great talking to you too. All right.
Okay.
Bye.